My new novel, Honor, is the story of an immigrant family, half Turkish, half Kurdish, living in London in late 1970s. In my eyes, this is a story that focuses on how we end up hurting the people we love most in this life, how that works. I also take a close look at mother-son relationship, how we raise our sons, sometimes as the sultans of the family, and how that works against them, in fact, in the long run. It's a book that explores the notion of honor. There is an honor killing at the heart of it. But basically, in my eyes, it's a story of love, families, and heartbreak. I myself have been raised by a single mother. I did not grow up in a very typical patriarchal, traditional family. So I was a single working mum, and I observed her all throughout my childhood as a divorcee, perhaps the price my mother had to pay in a very male-dominated society. I think this might have had some impact on my writing, my personality even, I would say. I was also raised for a while by my grandmother, who was a very different kind of woman, in the sense that my mother was very well educated, feminist, independent, very westernized, whereas my grandmother was less educated, more irrational, I would say, more spiritual, definitely, full of superstitions. And from her I learned this culture, oral culture, the traditions of oral culture, and from my mother, of course, written culture. I love that combination. I love mixing them in my work. In this book, I write about women in a patriarchal setting. However, that doesn't mean that these women are passive beings, that they're victims. I wanted to show their strength, but also conflicts. In my writings, they're always colorful, strong Muslim women characters, because I've seen these women, I've observed these women, and I know they exist. I divide my time between London and Istanbul. These two cities, in some ways, I find them similar. In some other ways, they're quite different. But I guess what I enjoy most is being slightly nomad, being a nomad and always traveling around the world, being connected to different cultures. I do think of my writing as a drawing compass. One leg of that compass, as you know, is very static. It's based in a certain location. It's rooted. So one leg of my fiction writing is attached to Istanbul, whereas the other leg, in the meantime, draws a huge wide circle around it, traveling around the world, connecting to different cities and cultures. I find London very inspiring for writers, artists, Istanbul as well, in different ways. I also write in two languages, and in that sense, I am commuting not only between cities, but also between languages. I think every book is like a building with multiple doors, entrances, exits, corridors, rooms, different floors. And it always excites me to see different readers connecting with the same book in different ways. They enter into that building through different doors and leave the building through different doors without running into each other. Every reader reads a story in a different way, because she or he brings her own gaze, his own gaze into the story, and I like that, I cherish that. So there are always multiple layers, and I leave it up to the reader. What I don't like is to write from above. I don't situate myself above my characters or the readers. I don't see myself as a puppeteer, who's controlling the strings of these fictional characters. I like to lose myself when I'm writing and be on the same level with my fictional characters, put myself in their shoes, stop being Elif and start becoming someone else. It's that transformation that always intrigues me and excites me.